Good morning, children. Today we will study Chapter 9, Heredity and Evolution, Part 2, and Topic B, Evolution and Classification. First, we have to understand about evolution. Means change in the characteristic of a species over several generations. Actually, it is the process by which physical characteristics of types of creatures change over time and new types of creatures develop. And we can see the development in case of human being, how the development takes place from Australopithecus to Homo sapiens. Then classification. It is basically a division or category in a system which divide organism into groups. It is the arrangement in proper manner, or we can say the arrangement of animals and plants in taxonomic group according to their observed similarities, including at least kingdom, phylum in animals, division in plants, and class, order, family, genus, as well as species. The division of organisms into groups according to particular characteristic. Taxonomy is having two word. Taxis means arrangement or division. Nomos means law. That means the system for naming and organizing organisms from simple to complex. Evolution is based on the characteristics of organism. So we shall know about characteristics. Here is a classification of animal kingdom. We can see the characteristics of organism placed in that lower group and the characteristics of the organism placed in at higher group. So we can define it. It is a detailed appearance of behavior of a particular form or a particular function. For example, forelimbs of human and photosynthesis in plants. We can see the characteristics of non-living and livings and we can identify them easily. Both classification and evolution are interlinked. Similarly, similarities between organisms allow us to group them together and to study their characteristics. And the classification in evolution gives us an idea how the organisms are arranged. The proper arrangement of these organisms in a particular order is known as hierarchy. We can define it, a type of social organization in which individuals are ranked according to their status or dominance relative to the number of their groups. Hierarchy refers to taxonomic classification of living organisms in successive level of complexity. The highest rank in such a classification is kingdom, while the species is the lowest rank, means grouping organism in a proper manner. At the very top is the kingdom, which is broadest category, followed by phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. All systems of classification are hierarchical. Evolutionary relationship with classification, we can take an example here. Some more common characteristics two species have, the more closely they are related. The more closer the species are, the more nearer they have a common ancestor. First example is a brother and a sister are closely related and they have a common ancestor, their parents in the first generation. Second example, a girl and her first cousin are closely related but less related than her brother. Then the girl and her cousin have a common ancestor, their grandparents in the second generation. Thus, evolutionary relationships are traced in the classification of organisms. Now we will see the evidences of evolution. First evidence is morphological evidence. Example, homologous organs. The organs that have same basic structural plan and developmental plan but different functions performed. For example, forelimb of frog, it is used for walking and jumping. The wings of bat or bird used for flying. The paws of lizard used for walking, scratching and attack. The forelimbs of human beings used for doing manual work. You can see here the basic structures in the bones are similar in all the cases, but their functions are different. The second is analogous organs. The organs that have different origin and basic structural plan but perform same function, or we can define the different basic structure but similar appearance and perform similar functions. For example, wings of bat having an elongated finger-like folds. The wings of bird having a feathery covering along the arm. It is also attached with the muscles and bones. The wings of insects, it is only a membranous structure. Now the second evidence is paleontological evidence. Paleontology means the study of fossils. It is the word which is made up of paleo, means old or ancient, ontos means being, and logi means study. Now we can define fossils. All the preserved traces or remains of the living organisms of the geological past are known as fossils, or the fossils are the dead remains of the plants and animals that got buried under the layer of earth we obtain today, and we can get an idea how the evolution takes place with the help of these fossils. How the fossils are formed. When the organisms die, their dead bodies decompose and get lost. But some parts of the environment that does not let it decompose. For example, a dead insect will not decompose in hot mud. It will harden and retain the impression of the insect body parts and thus preserve as fossils. Now, the evolution is related by the study of not only living species but also fossils. We can see some example of fossils are here. Fossil tree trunk, fossil invertebrate, the name is ammonite. The fossil invertebrate, the name is trilobite. The fossil fish, the name is Knightia, and the fossil dinosaur skull, and the name is Tyrannosaurus. Another example of the fossil is Archaeopteryx. It is a connecting link between birds and reptiles. This is because it has feathered wings, beak like those of birds, but teeth and tail like those of reptiles. So it is considered that birds have evolved from reptiles. Now we will see formation of fossils, and that process called as a fossilization. Fossils are formed layer by layer in the earth crust in a sequence. It is a slow process that is totally dependent on where the organism dies. For example, 100 million years invertebrate that were dead on the seabed were buried on the sand, and with time, more sand accumulates and sandstone are formed. After million years, the dinosaur living in the area die, buried in the mud, which are compressed into rocks above the earlier invertebrate fossil. Eventually, again million years later, the bodies of horse-like creature dies, and their fossils are found in rocks above the earlier rocks. But much later, due to erosion, the water flows wears some of the rocks and the horse-like fossils are exposed. When we dig into the deeper layer, the older fossils are found. Generally, the fossils occur in sedimentary rocks. The use of fossils. Fossils are very useful for us because we can find out the racial history of plants and animals. We can get an idea about the past climatic conditions of the earth and to measure the geological time. We can produce direct evidence in support of evolution, and that living forms with simple organization appeared earlier and then the complex form. We have this idea only after study of fossils. And the last one, to study the missing links to find out the intermediate characteristics for evolution. Example, Archaeopteryx. We can also know the age of fossils. It can be estimated by two ways. Number one, relative method. Fossils closer to the surface are more recent to those which are found in deeper layers. Number two, dating fossils or rocks. It can be done by detecting the ratios of different isotopes of the same element in the fossil material, like radioactive uranium, potassium, and argon. Another example is radiocarbon dating. Now we move to the next part, that is evolution by stages. It is for fitness advantage. The complicated evolution of complex organs is not sudden. It occurs due to the minor changes in DNA. However, takes place bit by bit over generations. A flatworm named planaria has very simple rudimentary eye, just eye spot, which detect light and ensure the organism for its survival. The eye wing seems to be very popular adaptation. Insects have them, so does an octopus, and so does a vertebrate. But now development of the eye continuously takes place. The structure of eye in each of these organisms different enough to have separate evolutionary origins. Second is the functional advantage. It is the development of feathers. Feathers to provide insulation in cold weather, but later they might become useful for flight. For example, dinosaurs had feathers but could not fly using feathers. Bird seems to have later adapted the feathers to flight. Means that the birds are very closely related to reptiles since dinosaurs were reptiles. The very important part of this topic is artificial selection. What is it? First of all, we should know the modification of species in which the animals or plants with desirable characteristics or traits are interbreed with the aim to produce new strain of organisms for a specific purpose. This type of the selective breeding is known as artificial selection. Example, some dissimilar looking structures also evolved from a common ancestor. For example, wild cabbage plant. A number of varieties we can develop from this wild cabbage plant. Number 1, cauliflower. Number 2, broccoli. Number 3, cabbage. Number 4, red cabbage. Number 5, kohlrabi. Number 5, kale. If we observe, the structure of all these species are completely different. For example, the wild cabbage is Brassica oleracea, and the different plants are developed from this one. The first is cabbage. The characteristics are modified with short distance between the leaves. And the second is broccoli. It has arrested flower development. The next is cauliflower. It has strial flowers. And then kohlrabi with swollen parts, and then kale with longer and larger leaves. We can see the different varieties of the wild cabbage separately, identify their structure, and we can have an idea how the selective breeding takes place. The varieties of the wild cabbage are very closely related because they have the common ancestor. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you so much.